Thanks for coming online with us today. My name is John Dubas. I'm with Premier Senior Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 45 minutes or so discussing a program we have that helps you market to and improve faith-based organizations. I need to make a clarification up front. This is for secular business being held at a location that is part of a faith-based out to convert their religion or anything of that nature. It's just a case of working with a key influencer within our community to help us reach the audience that we're pursuing. Why would you want to pursue and deal with the faith-based community? Well, to begin with, as a licensed professional, you have a multitude of insurance programs that will help those you serve. And I apologize, I'm attempting to fix the audio. We're getting some feedback where it's not very fluid and cutting out, but I apologize for that. When you look at the portfolio of products that you have available, different Medicare programs and overall review of such programs can really help benefit the congregation, the pastoral leadership of that particular organization, and of course the agent that's servicing those folks that are in attendance. You look at other portions of a portfolio available to you as a licensed health and life insurance agent. There are different programs available in the life insurance arena that can be of big help to the congregation and are a valid part of your portfolio as well, including life insurance that can be used in charitable bequests and overall different types of planning programs. And then, of course, as well, different final expense programs that can be an integral part of establishing financial security for the different organizations as well. This is a program that really enables you to reach a segment of the population and have that meeting take place in a trusted environment. And many of these people aren't going to respond to any other type of marketing outreach. Many of them will get the letters that pile up on their desk and say, nope, not answering any of them. They're not responding to TV or radio advertisements. The newspaper meetings that are published or other information there may not be of interest to them. This, however, in a program that is delivered through their faith-based family can have a different type of attraction and a different type of audience. It is important to note that while we go through today's presentation and we speak to the fact that much of this deals with seminar selling, you can also apply this to a circumstance where you're basically setting up a camp at one of these locations as well and setting appointments to visit with people in that more of a one-on-one or more limited basis than you would in a group selling situation. So you have a couple of different avenues to pursue. The majority of today's presentation will speak to presentations delivered to a group. When you look at this approach, it's really important that as an agent, we do things with the right heart and spirit. And this is one of the ways that we can really help ourselves as well get that great source of encouragement. There's a whole lot of no's we go through each and every day. Zig Ziglar used to preach the gospel of getting through the no's to get to the yes. Well, these are circumstances where you're helping a population that is in need of your services, and many of the things that you can do can help these people create a legacy. And you can do that where it maximizes the value of the different programs that are made available to the congregation and to the church that they are a member of. If you think of a situation where an individual can purchase an affordable life insurance plan, name the church as a beneficiary, it creates a multiple effect. That did not come out very well. A multiple effect of the donation, and you can help create a legacy that way as well. And then there, of course, there are the programs where in many circumstances, when you're dealing with a smaller or mid-sized church, sometimes if someone passes and they don't have the means for a proper burial, they'll do a collection in order to do that. This frees the responsibility of that from that congregation as well. Some of the things that an overall review does for a congregation, well, it helps them understand what they've got. Helps them reassure the program they have in place may still be their best option, but it also gives them the opportunity to do a comparison with other coverages that may be available to them. And if you're speaking in the Medicare world, that may be a circumstance where these folks have a special election period. They can affect a change now, and you can help them throughout the course of the year, in addition to scheduling different things during open enrollment periods to make certain that you reach as large of an audience as is possible. Additionally, when you are delivering information in such a setting, you have gone through a de facto vetting process in order to get to the congregation, and in many times this reassures your audience of the fact that you have a trustworthy source of information, and the person that's up there has, in many circumstances, their best interests at heart. It also gives those individuals who may not have responded to any other sort of outreach a means to affect the change that they may need if it's in their best interest. And you are supplying them that opportunity on a convenient basis in a trusted environment. When you look at the different things that come into play with many of the different Medicare Advantage programs, we need to keep in mind that the median income of a Medicare recipient is around $24,000. So many of the folks will look at different options that are available and feel that they can't afford a Medicare supplement plan or anything beyond a prescription drug plan. In some cases, they don't even take out the drug plan because they don't feel they can afford that premium. When you're able to explain a program that can be a viable option for them, freeing up dollars that they would be spending in other places, it really helps deliver an excellent package of benefits and allows them to more fully participate with their faith-based family as well, and that might allow them to increase their participation and support of their faith-based family. Additionally, many of these programs do have that effect of being proactive in dealing with health circumstances, and the people are more active and stay in the church longer. I know that might sound a little bit morbid to a degree, but one of the things that we need to be aware of in many circumstances is sometimes attendance at different churches is declining in certain circumstances, and this helps maintain a population as well. Additionally, since there are not answers that are applicable to everyone in every circumstance, having a full portfolio of product allows you to properly respond to the needs of the people you're addressing and allows for an explanation across different types of programs. So as a Medicare Advantage program is not the answer for every Medicare recipient, neither is a Medicare supplement program, but a combination of them give a great option to a great number of people and helps them satisfy their need. When you look at different portions of your portfolio and look at life insurance and some of the programs that come with that, be they standard life insurance programs or those that address final expense programs, it is a great way for an individual to once again take and multiply their donation. A $40 a month tithe may be substantial to a particular organization, but a $40 tithe that is purchasing $14,000 worth of coverage as well, that may be designated for the church, that is a great way to create a legacy and help with the sustenance of that faith-based family after a person is gone as well. So there are a number of different things a person can do with good intent in mind that will help extend and relieve some of the financial obligation of their faith-based family as well. Some of the things that this does for the pastoral leadership, well, one of the things it does most certainly is it allows the leadership to vet the information that is going to the congregation to a degree, and allows then an opportunity for them to get the information their congregation needs to that congregation. It can help with financial stability, because then the people that are participating in the programs be doing as we suggested in the previous slide, helping with the financial stability through a charitable bequest or the assignment of death benefit to the church. It is also an opportunity where if the population is served by their own means, it may free up additional resources to other parts of the congregation and may contribute to the overall vitality of that faith-based family. Additionally, if a person is able to get into a program and reduce their financial obligation for one need or another, it may also have that effect of increasing potential of giving to the church. Pardon me a moment. What it does for you as an agent, well, it allows you to have that trusted environment to address those people that may not be responding to other sources of marketing. It's an important thing to realize that no matter how adept we are at different forms of an overall marketing package, there are always different ways to get in front of even more people, and this is a great way to get in front of folks that are going to participate with their church that wouldn't participate someplace else. They're more likely to attend an informational meeting there than they would perhaps a restaurant or in some other type of secular setting. It also gives the individual an opportunity to hear that message with people that share their beliefs. So they're kind of the same mindset in certain circumstances, and it may then lend to an environment where the information is delivered and people are more receptive to it. And of course, doing things properly with a said location allows us to do something we do in our individual appointments as well, or should do, and that's have the opportunity to solicit referrals. Many times the way that you conduct yourself within a group setting will allow you to also get referrals to other groups as well. Leadership at different types of like facilities tend to talk to other people at different facilities, and it gives you the opportunity to multiply your marketing impact simply by doing a good job in the first place of where you are, and then following up, much as what you do in the other type of sales circumstance where you are asking for referrals of who else do you know that I can help. Where do you find some of the individuals? Obviously, different list sources that are available to you through different vendors. You can obviously buy a list. You don't have to. You can go to different places on the wonderful internet and Google, and it'll help you find different locations as well. But this particular website, churchangel.com, allows you to access information on a very affordable basis. It's free. So you can go to churchangel.com and search for churches by area, churches by denomination, all sorts of different ways of getting in front of these people and mapping out your prospect list, in a manner of speaking, based on those particular programs as well. So you have an opportunity to go in and help set up your plan on how you work this particular niche market. So going to churchangel.com allows you to locate many of those locations in a very simple manner. When you look at different faith-based organizations, obviously You have some similarities regardless of faith as to how people meet, central location, different times and days that they come together and share community. But many of these organizations, dependent upon their size, have different facets within their congregation that you can access as an insurance agent properly and make certain that you are reaching as many people as possible. Many churches have senior groups within the church. One of the churches I've attended in the past had an organization called Golden Saints. The name of the church was All Saints. Golden Saints was their senior group. Many faiths have a senior group, and many times they have regular meetings, and they look for someone who can deliver information to them in a seminar type of basis, in a group basis, and this allows you access to some of the information that you want to disseminate to your audience. Many churches also have different caregiver support groups that look for information that can be supplied to their membership within the group on different facets of support necessary to them. So relationships built with the American Heart Association or the American Diabetes Association, different organizations of that sort where you have created a relationship with them and are able to take and incorporate in some of that information, gives you a powerful in for these organizations to be a deliverer of information. Also different social organizations that may be part of a particular church. In the Dallas area, I worked with a group that was called Romeos. It was based out of a church in a suburb of Dallas. And Romeos, you wouldn't necessarily think, well, wow, where's the correlation there as to faith-based? Well, it's retired old men eating out. They're a regular group that met for lunch on a basis, and they normally met in very senior-friendly locations that allowed for a small presentation during lunch as well. We have to be careful when we do these things now because of MIPA requirements, but doing things on an educational basis allows that, even though food is being served, because you're not supplying the food. They're just meeting anyway, and they're taking advantage of the community that they share and eating together. You're not paying for that particular meeting refreshments, and so you're still staying compliant. And then churches also have organized activities such as health fairs or Blue Rock shoots or different ways that they meet and share community as well. And sometimes they are looking for folks that are able to supply information at a booth or something of that nature that is available to them. You will see a variation of access based on church sizes. And obviously, if you're going after the mega churches, you're hunting elephants like you are with a huge long-term care policy or something of that nature, where you're not going to the result as if you were pursuing smaller or mid-sized churches. Obviously, the larger churches may have a number of insurance agents that are part of that congregation, may have approached them, or you may have to go through different boards or different approval processes to be approved. I'm not saying don't do it, but what I'm saying is temper that with accessing some of the smaller or mid-sized churches where you have perhaps greater access, but you can also make a larger impact by the delivery of your information. So some things to keep in mind when you're pinpointing different locations to visit with. Some different things that you can do as approach tips. Obviously, it's very important to be professional and courteous in your approach, and then just ask some basic questions. These are some of the things that I deliver. In this particular instance, this script deals with Medicare programs, and you're asking who within the congregation would set up any type of informational seminars or have meetings that needed a speaker that you could use and address with different topics. You get some of the basic information for the contact of those individuals, and you work your way through to do a presentation to them based on the need of that particular location. You can do the same thing, obviously, when you look at a different approach through life insurance or final expense. Tweaking your approach will depend upon, obviously, what products that you are comfortable in presenting. It may give you an opportunity to work with other insurance professionals and approach different locations as a team and give a group presentation. So there are a number of different approaches that you can use in order to differentiate yourself from every other Tom, Dick, and Harry agent that's out there looking for the same sort of opportunity. Some of the things that are available because of is the number of different programs that you have that you can use as a source of information. If you are familiar at all with the Medicare Learning Network and some of the programs that are there, it gives you then a number of different topics that you can use on a pre-vetted system and make available to the congregation. So there are a number of different programs that come with a ready set topic and a ready set delivery program available to you. As you see with some of the pop-up from the bottom of the screen, there are programs where you can assess an understanding of the Medicare program in whole. That's about 120 slides, got to warn you, so that might be a two-parter for some of the congregations. Or you can break down different topics. You can go and do a presentation on Medicare supplement programs or on prescription drug plans. Or they even have a program that helps an individual navigate the Medicare Plan Finder program on Medicare.gov. If nothing else, a number of these programs are a great resource for us as well to help increase and reinforce our knowledge of the Medicare programs. It's a great program in there on the coordination of benefits. You got Medicare basic programs that are not only available from the different, from just the CMS source, but you have a number of different carriers that also have presentations that you can use that are perhaps generic in nature but labeled with their logo. United Healthcare, Humana, Aetna, those programs come to mind right away with programs that are available for you to make available as a presentation. So some different things that can come into play. And then, of course, there is a presentation that we used a little earlier today that speaks to the different sort of assistance programs that are available to people on Medicare. And this is a topic that is really hot right now, no pun intended, since I saw a thermometer in Arizona that said 119 degrees. I'm in Texas. It was a little cooler. But that is a topic where we're now into June, and you think of the fact that the initial benefit period with a prescription drug program is set for the median use of the Medicare population. So in June, you are seeing a number of individuals who may be approaching or are in the coverage gap. Knowledge of low-income subsidy, extra help programs, or the Medicare savings programs can help those people deal with those costs of prescriptions, and is a great, very timely topic as well, and we have that presentation available to you. Having a number of presentations available also enables the location with whom you're visiting to select a program. So it gives you an in as to, okay, what's the hot button of this particular location? It may be, as I mentioned just a moment ago, the low-income subsidy or Medicare savings programs, or it may be something entirely different. It may be pre-planning for final expense, and we have a great presentation through Legacy Safeguard that help people with that, that's available without cost. So some great programs that can help reach people in different areas of need. The nice thing about this too is because you are an independent insurance agent, you have the flexibility not only to speak to different topics, but also deliver that information in a number of different manners. I mentioned earlier that a lot of this is geared towards seminar selling. That doesn't preclude you from setting up camps at a particular location where people are comfortable coming to a location designated by the church. It may be within the church itself as a meeting point where you're scheduling different appointments throughout the day as part of a camp. It gives you then the opportunity to vary your presentation from more than one topic a little more easily than if you're just giving a group presentation. And it's always a nice thing to do as part of the overall approach to the church leadership, that you make the initial presentation available without the threat of a high sales type of atmosphere, where you go to them and mention the fact that your initial presentations are informational in nature only, and that their type of follow-up for a actual purchase of a program or additional information pursuit of a particular program, well, that is based on the individual basis and isn't part of your original meeting. Helps you get more meetings that way. Setting up this information then comes much as the same type of procedure that you follow through and just getting a regular appointment with an individual. You're asking some key questions, you're discovering the information and the need that you have with the individual with whom you're speaking, and then you set up the follow-up for that particular location. One of the biggest hurdles that many people have to overcome when utilizing this sort of marketing approach is they may not feel comfortable dealing with their own faith family, or they may not be comfortable dealing with a group. One of the first things that I would strongly recommend is that you take a good look in the mirror and realize that the programs that you're delivering have real value, not only to an individual prospect, but to a community. And you have at your disposal a number of different programs that can sincerely make their life better. Having that reassurance and having the opportunity then to deliver that to an audience can make all the difference in the world when it comes to the fact that, boy, I got to go out there and ask people for this. Yeah, you do with everything that you do in the insurance world, but this may have particular importance to certain people. Once again, it's important to realize that we go out and visit with people with the right intent in mind. We want to make certain that as we go through the discovery process that we're involving everyone within the congregation that has a say as to what's delivered, how it's delivered, when it's delivered, where it's delivered. All the things you have to do in an individual appointment as well. And then reference that material throughout the course of our sales process. Keep in mind, most congregations, the leadership of a congregation, are very protective of their flock, and they don't want to expose those individuals to a sales circumstance. That means in many circumstances, you have to deliver your message clearly and concisely and persuasively to the people that make that decision. They have to be comfortable with who you are and what you're offering. And by doing so in a non-threatening informational manner, particularly up front, it gives you an opportunity to speak to groups you wouldn't be able to access otherwise. Book of Mark, where your treasure lies, there your heart shall be. If you're doing it with the proper intent, people will recognize it, and you have people in a thing. One of the reasons why we need to make certain that we are out making this part of our overall marketing program is it allows us to get in touch with, as I mentioned before, people who need our help. At this time of the year, there are many people, as I mentioned before, that are concerned and a bit perplexed by how they're going to afford some of their medications. There are people out there that have medical costs that they can't cover in any other fashion. Your delivery of information on Medicare savings plans can make a huge difference. Your delivery of ancillary benefits, where you speak to the availability of dental hearing vision programs, can make a huge influence on the folks that have to deal with those particular circumstances. And then, of course, for those that are involved in faith-based organizations, they tend to be a little more serious about the future. It also gives you an opportunity to speak to, in a perfect environment, the opportunity to leave a legacy and to make certain that they're treating all of the extended parts of their family properly. Not only their nuclear family, but their faith family as well, and that they can ensure a proper burial in the future. We had a church in Fort Worth that had an agent that was fairly persistent in pursuing the church leadership about speaking to groups on final expense. And he was fairly persistent over a period of time to do so. Didn't seem to make any great headway. And then they had a congregation member who passed away, and they had to pass the hat to bury him. He scheduled an appointment very shortly thereafter. What you're doing is offering a solution to different problems that themselves. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing and persistence to get the message across. We are also, of course, in a time period where there is a ton of about healthcare in general and health circumstance delivery for people under the age of 65. The Obamacare, Trump care, however you want to label some of those packages, creates questions across the board. That may well be a topic of interest to you as well. One of the things that your efforts does as well is it gives the church an opportunity for focused outreach into the community in which they're a part of, a very valid part of. And they can then become a source to their community, much as you become a source to that particular church, of information that is of interest to the community. So it may be a way that they can work with people to make them aware of the services they offer as well. We're not out cutting people. The churches, however, can do what they need to do to maintain viability of their particular congregation as well. There are different things that a congregation can do that we can't, either fiscally or compliantly in certain circumstances. So a church can do different things with announcing the timing of a presentation that you can't. So some things to consider where they could actually do different campaigns to make certain that the congregation in the neighborhood knows what's going on and help drive attendance to your event. As I mentioned before, consider very strongly the approach where your initial meeting is not a sales meeting. It's an informational meeting. I'm careful about using the words educational meetings because if you're in the Medicare world, that's filed differently. But in this particular circumstance, getting the message out is the important thing, and the follow-up will come thereafter. There are things that a congregation can do as well as what I meant in community outreach, where they can reach into their own community and do publicity for you to help draw the crowd. This is one of the key reasons why we do these presentations for you at this particular point in time, because we are in that time period where in the Medicare world, there's all sorts of certifications suddenly available and suddenly necessary. AHIP certification is already out. Many of the carriers are announcing that their certifications are coming as well. And many of these carriers then will look at agents that are certified, ready to sell early with their products and approach you and ask that you do community meetings for them. In many circumstances, these carriers are very active in getting presentations to you, perhaps even support marketing material, but they aren't always as supportive in building the audience. One of the reasons we're doing this as well is because the church can draw that audience for us. It is very cost effective and hardcore secular thought where it doesn't cost as much to get a group together this way. And in many circumstances, the church will help not only with the staging of the event, but supplying the different refreshments and other things that come with it. Obviously, preparation to offer those services as well can help facilitate the scheduling of events, but the church can help draw the audience through inserts in the bulletin. They may have a website where they publish different events as well, and some congregations have even had the message delivered from the pulpit. So some things that are available from the congregation to help draw your audience. As I mentioned, there are a multitude of different detailed presentations that are available. And as we go through a second presentation here, we're going to see these in detail. But these are some different things that are available to ask and to speak of in support of your marketing efforts. A number of different topics on Medicare can be basically the basics, getting started in it. There's actually a CMS presentation that speaks to the transition from the marketplace to Medicare. So a number of different topics that are available to you in that regard. As I mentioned, the assistance programs for prescription and Medicare medical costs are very timely at this point in time with the low-income subsidy extra help programs and the Medicare savings programs. And then, of course, you have the programs that are available for you that speak to the financial viability of the faith-based organization with such timely topics as pre-planning through Legacy Safeguard, preparation of final expense programs, and charitable giving, charitable bequest, using life insurance as the vehicle to pass those dollars along. Some simple recommendations. You have a full agenda of different topics that are available to you. Take those, find the hot topic for the time period that you're approaching, schedule that, and then schedule a rotation of topics throughout the year as well. I would recommend that you aim for a minimum of quarterly presentations. You've got enough of different types that you could do it each and every month if you wanted to. I think that would be dependent upon the cooperation that you have, obviously, with the different locations and the needs of that particular congregation. But having that rotation, following through with it, allows you to set yourself up as the subject matter expert for that particular congregation. You may involve other agents that may be part of that congregation as to cement your place within the organization, but doing things on a regular basis can make the difference. Be consistent. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of like an exercise program that you do just once a week. You're going to feel the pain, you're going to feel the work, and you may not get all the benefit out of it. You could if you were just a little bit consistent. The things you have to do thereafter, once you have found a location that wants to work with you and you've determined a different topic, well, if it's Medicare based, file it as a sales event. Even if you're doing it on an informational basis, file it with a carrier that you work with, and make certain that you do so appropriately and follow all the rules that are necessary in order for you to remain compliant. Make certain then that you are well aware of the presentation you're going to deliver and you're comfortable with it. You studied it. You know the answers to questions that that topic is going to elicit from your audience. Make certain that you're prepared for the presentation itself with any ancillary material that may be necessary to disseminate during the meeting. One of the reasons we like using a lot of United Healthcare's Medicare Made Clear programs for Medicare presentations is the fact that you can order different handouts from the agent toolkit, and they're available to you without cost. Full colored presentations, full colored handouts. It's a great way to come prepared for your folks to go with something tangible that they can reflect upon and then refer back to in future conversations. When you have all that set up as well and you've set the event, make certain that you engage the church leadership to market the event in order for that audience to be there when you conduct your presentation, and then make certain that you very fastidiously follow up, not just with the attendees or the people that said they were going to be there and weren't able to make it, but also with church leadership so they're comfortable with what you have to offer, what you've delivered, and that they're have the peace of mind of knowing that you've delivered what you said you were going to and in the fashion that you were looking to do so. Remember, you got a full portfolio of products available that you can use to address. And many of these have presentations already baked for you that you can deliver. You can access a lot of those different programs through our organization by creating an agent profile and contracting with multiple carriers very simply through our SuranceBay link on our website. A great way for you to make certain that you have the portfolio of product to deliver to support the topic that you're discussing. We have a full team available to support you in those areas, and also different additional trainings for you to be able to speak to multiple topics and deliver them with accuracy and effectively. So there are a ton of different carrier presentations that are out there. Now is the time where many of them are rolling out certifications. Sometimes that gets a bit frustrating because you have multiple carriers that you need to certify with, but keep in mind each of those certifications then is a reinforcement of the knowledge you need to properly deliver your presentation. Many times these carriers also offer additional optional trainings that are necessary in order to present their material in a group setting, so we want to make certain that we satisfy their requirements, but it also gives us additional material that we can use to deliver our message effectively. We have different campaigns that we have in place that can help make certain that you ensure the success of presentation. Grassroots marketing, working your community campaign to draw from other centers of influence in the community to support your meeting at the church, making certain that you have the information you need on those entitlement programs and that you have it in play. We had a presentation earlier today for information on LIS and MSP. It was recorded. That will be available to you as well. And then, of course, there are different programs through the Medicare site that I mentioned, different Medicare supplement quote engines. We have one available without cost to our folks. And as I mentioned, there is a presentation from CMS itself on how to work Medicare.gov to help determine what program may be best for an individual. To be involved, you basically have to determine, is this something you want to use as part of an overall marketing program? We want to make certain that you realize you put all your eggs in one basket regardless of how effective one particular program might be, marketing program, at one particular point in time. It's all subject to change. Having your marketing program in order to make certain that you have different areas that positively affect your outcome can make a huge difference. So work this into an overall marketing campaign. And it's one of those, well, I had a sales manager years ago with Prudential out of Biloxi, Mississippi, who used to say, even a blind squirrel can find an acorn. Well, he can if the blind squirrel's out there looking for an acorn, whether you can see it or not. So in this circumstance, that activity will breed different success. The harder you work, the luckier you get. Make it a part of your own program. Be prepared. And the thing is, when all is said and done, more is said than done. Start it as part of your program. If this is of interest to you, we can help set you up with information about different locations within your target market and make available to you different leave behind pieces that can help leave a lasting imprint on the community that you're visiting. This is an example of material based on my own personal circumstances that gives you a leave behind for the people that you're discussing these programs with. Many times if you go into a mid-size or larger church or even a small church itself, they may ask who you are, why you're different, is there material available for you to leave behind for them to discuss with other people that might be involved in the decision to allow you to work with their location. This basically sets up an agenda that discusses who you are, what you represent, what you're looking to do, and how to initiate the action. Give them a little bit of information about yourself. Having that information in this fashion personalizes you, humanizes you, and helps make that connection, that personal connection with the people that you're visiting with. We can take this presentation and adapt it to any one of you. And you can use it in conjunction with working with churches. You can use it in conjunction with working with any segment of the grassroots community. And you could even use it in an interview with potential clients. Let them know who you are, what you have to offer, and how you go about enacting those particular specifics. So if this is of interest to you, we'd create this particular presentation and adapt it for you as well. Speak to the fact that you are an independent agent that offers a full portfolio of products, because your initial approach with a particular product may not be the thing that they're looking for at that particular point in time, but having information about everything you offer, well, that might give them a chance to discover their own hot button. Listing the portfolio of products that you have available, sometimes name dropping, so to speak, a particular brand can be to your advantage or disadvantage. Making certain that you're hedging your bet with the multitude of carriers that are available to you as an independent agent can help in that decision as well. Noting the fact that you cover the whole spectrum of product that is available in the Medicare world can make a huge difference, because as I mentioned before, a Medicare supplement isn't an answer for everyone, nor is a Medicare Advantage program. So having that balance can help make certain that the people deal with you because you have it all for them to offer. Make certain that they realize that you understand why people are asking questions. You've got healthcare reform out there now, and the legislation that goes back and forth, having all of us with our head in a spin. Having information available, being aware of different circumstances, can help them address the questions that are pertinent to your particular audience. We have legislation in the Medicare world that dictates different dissemination of information from the carriers. It tells us what we can and cannot say in certain circumstances, and having your audience realize that you are not only knowledgeable but compliant can really help them feel comfortable with the message that you're delivering. Plus, they're about to receive a whole bunch of different information about options they have available. They're going to have questions about the program they're on and how they can compare it to different options. You have that capability. You offer those decisions or the opportunity to have the information to help that person make the decision, so it can be there for you as well. This will detail those presentations that I mentioned earlier, the portfolio of presentations you have available. It gives a bit of a mock-up on how those programs look through the PowerPoints available, the Medicare 101 Understanding Medicare program, Introduction to Medicare program. There are like 3 different variants within the National Training Program that address this, in addition to carrier-specific presentations. I mentioned the Medicare Made Clear programs from United Healthcare. This is the PowerPoint for that, and it also allows you then to use the information they supply to you without cost. You have the programs on the subsets of Medicare programs, so Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplement programs, prescription drug programs, understanding low-income subsidy and Medicare savings programs, the Legacy Safeguard program that walks people through the pre-planning process and enables them to more clearly visualize the need they have for help in dealing with the ultimate experience we all have to deal with. So that's there for you. And then, of course, different campaigns that can help them with charitable bequests as well. This then is a personalized type of program that not only then supplies information about you and what you have to offer, it gives them the reasoning why they want to deal with you, and then also what they need to do to move forward with the programs that you offer through them as well. So some different pieces that can come into play and can be tailored for your particular circumstance. There are a number of national marketing managers within our organization that would be happy to get you the information you need in order for this program to be a successful piece of your overall marketing strategy. We want to make certain that that is available to you. You can reach us through our toll-free number at 1-800-365-8208. The gentlemen that are listed here are the folks that deal with Medicare. You have a number of other listings available to help you with other type of product that is available for you through a group presentation. You speak to the final expense programs and legacy safeguard. We've got a number of individuals here that will really help you walk through that presentation, understand it, make it your own, and be successful in a group delivery as well. All that said, I'd like for you to watch for the follow-up that will come from today's presentation. As I mentioned, the presentation has been recorded, so you have access to all the information that is here. If you are specifically interested in the little piece that can be personalized for you to use as a leave behind or as part of your overall sales process, just let us know. We'll visit with you. We'll adapt that piece to your particular situation and make certain that we can take care of the support material you need to be successful with this. So as I mentioned, this is good. You will get the information sent to you as well, and you will be able then to assimilate this as part of your package. I want to thank you for coming on the line with us today. Watch for the follow-up. We look forward to speaking with you in the very near future. And in the meantime, we wish you good selling. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.